Hello, I'm Thalia, and I'm a curatorial assistant here at the inspiring San Bernardino County Cultural and Natural History Museum in Redlands, California. And it is my privilege to introduce to you great things behind the scenes. As a curatorial assistant here at the museum, I have the exciting job of working with the curators and all of their collections. And one of the things that I realized was that you, the museum goer, may find it inspiring and interesting to see a little bit more of what happens here behind the scenes. For example, today I'm filming in Mammal Hall, which used to be an exhibit area and now is used to store many of the amazing collections here. When I was a museum goer, I was curious, what happens behind the scenes in a museum? What do they do with the collections? How do they store them? What do they look like when they're not on display? What are the stories behind the collections? So today I'd like to peel back the curtain and allow you an opportunity to get to know a little bit more about what it's like to work inside of a museum. Some of the things that we're going to cover in this series are curious collections. How do we store the collections? Where do we store the collections? What do we do in order to preserve our collections while they're being stored? We're also going to step into the curators' offices so that you can have some real conversations with the curators in our museum. They are fascinating individuals and they bring their expertise from a lot of different backgrounds. We're also going to look at the strange and unusual aspects of the collections and talk a little bit about the stories and the reasons why we house these collections here. Why are they important? And what is their historical or prehistorical value? We've also got a Did You Know series where we are going to take you into some of the more unusual parts of the museum so that you can see what happens there and give you, the museum goer, an opportunity to communicate with us about what it is that you know and answer any questions that you may have. We're also going to show you some of the incredible things behind the curtain that happens when we are putting together exhibits. How does the curator put together an exhibit? How do they plan for that? What are all of the things that happen in their offices before those things are transferred up to the exhibit halls? We want to give you a sneak peek into what happens behind closed doors in order to bring to life the different collections in the museum in our exhibit spaces. When I was a very young girl, museums were one of those places that I found just really inspired and uplifted me. And when I was about 10 years old, the Ramses exhibit came to our local natural history museum. And I was absolutely floored by what I saw. And from that point forward, I just could not get enough of being in a museum. So I find museums to be a very special and sacred and empowering place where you get to see who you can become, what you can study, and what the world has to offer. So what we'd like to do with this series is help you to feel that same joy and inspiration that a museum can provide, and to really satisfy your curiosity, because isn't that what we're doing when we come to a museum? If you have any questions for us or any ideas about things that you would love to see behind the scenes here at the museum, put those in the comments below. Again, I'm Thalia, and thank you so much for joining me here today. If you see me around the museum, be sure and stop and say hi.